he was really excited, right? Like
Dude, that's why it's so good. It's such a funny story, dude. We made our friend an international fugitive. 1010 video, the hour Daco Cristo made about the West Papua is amazing.
Now, you might recognize her as the cameraman from our previous videos, but outside of that, she's a pretty normal girl with a normal life, right? She likes painting, she likes her pet bunny, she likes music, just an all-round normal girl.
I never met this person, so I guess they had made her an international fugitive by this point, so I didn't even see.
I'm so nervous.
But if you ask the Indonesian government, they think she's something completely different.
Australia menyusup ke Papua.
The shooter was an armed criminal with a bow and arrows. One soldier was wounded in the incident.
Dia tampak menggunakan atribut bintang kejora yang merupakan bendera kebesaran bangsa Papua.
Kemudian senjata tradisional seperti panah, kemudian parang, kampak.
Now, if you want to
Was she also at the Polish border?
understand how we managed to convince an entire country that our friend Kirsten was a terrorist, you got to know a bit about the history of Indonesia, or like the history of West Papua specifically. So I don't know, if I give you like 3 minutes, then you go on Google and just type in West Papua and then just read like all of it, and yeah, then I'll tell the rest of the story once you know what's going on. So yeah.
I'm not going to do that.
Actually, you know what? This is boring. I don't know what you got up to, but I'll do it from the start, and I'll just explain it. So Papua is a bit of a mystery for the world, right? It's the last place on Earth to be reached by the Europeans, and it still has hundreds of uncontacted tribes to this day. But Papua's 40,000-year stint of self-love and me time.
Dude, what was up with that dude or lady? What is this? What happened here? Do you guys know what that is? This. No, not nips. This thing on both of their arms. Is that a tumor? Holy shit, dude. A swollen gland? God damn. Damn, you really hid that? I mean, I didn't do it intentionally.
The tribes to this day. But Papua's 40,000-year stint of self-love and me time was interrupted in the 17th century when the Dutch arrived and did what Europeans do whenever they meet new people. They immediately started measuring their heads and lecturing them about some guy they were obsessed with called Jesus. Now, eventually the Papuans managed to get the Dutch to chill out by agreeing that, they also loved Jesus now. But things somehow got even worse after that. Like, the Dutch started building these, really impressive death camps and introduced the population to the operational efficiency and great profit margins of slave labor. This colonial project spread across all these islands from Papua to Indonesia, known as the Dutch East Indies, one of the most profitable.
It's always so wonderful, the bounties of slavery. I mean, they are, man, Eurocucks. So good at this one thing.
Colonies Europe ever created.
Classic.
But unfortunately, after about 300 years of, brilliant Dutch entrepreneurship, the Indonesians finally rose up. And after 29 years of brutal fighting, they kicked the Dutch out and declared independence, which, good on ya. I mean, you got the slavery and the death camps, which is not good, but I think the worst thing the Dutch ever did was, pretend that they had their own language. When it's essentially identical to someone just typing in English, but, you occasionally jiggle the keyboard. Seriously, this is how they write the phrase, "We have a serious problem." It's the dumbest language in the world. Unfortunately, the job of kicking out the Dutch was never fully completed. They liberated 13,000 islands of the Dutch East Indies and united 1,300 ethnic groups under the United States of Indonesia, but the island of Papua was still under European colonial rule. And it was Indonesia's mission to, finish the job and finally liberate Papua from the Dutch. The only issue is that this is the guy who liberated Indonesia, Sukarno. And you can probably tell by how hot he is that he was a socialist, which means the US had to destroy him. Now, at one point, this is not a joke, the CIA tried to get rid of Sukarno with the power of pornography.
This is a awesome story. The pornography one is like, I think probably one of my favorite CIA blackmail stories of all time, which I'm sure he's going to describe now. But
now, like, I know it sounds insane, but it kind of just keeps getting even dumber. Like, I feel like a psychopath even telling you about it. But the CIA hired Bing Crosby, the guy who sang.
He laid pipe too good. he laid pipe too good.
White Christmas. Yeah, the most popular singer in the world at the time. Which, firstly, it's insane that they managed to flip.
Better than the assassin who falls in love with Castro. That's like too much of a classic one. Like CIA hiring an assassin to assassinate Castro, and then the assassin falling in love with Fidel Castro and exposing the plot is like a classic story. It's a classic bit. This one is funny for its failure and its incompetence in general.
Such a giant celebrity and turn him into a full-on CIA asset. But maybe it's even more insane that they picked him for this Indonesian spy job in the first place. Because, like, what relationship does he have to Indonesia? It's just, I mean, it was the 50s. So I assume the CIA was, too racist to work with an actual Asian person. So they just assumed because his name was Bing, he'd have a unique insight into Asian culture. Anyway, Bing produced an adult film called Happy Days. So they found a Mexican porn star and put a latex mask on him to make him look like the president of Indonesia, and they recorded him having sex. So this was the plan, right? The CIA has this film, and then they release it claiming that, the KGB did it, and they secretly recorded him, having sex on his many trips to the Soviet Union. And look, I mean, Indonesia's a Muslim country, right? And if the CIA release this, the idea is that they get a 2-for-1 deal, where they turn the people of Indonesia against their leader, and they strain the friendly relationship between Indonesia and the Soviets. But when Sukarno found out about the film, he was really excited, right? Like he wanted copies for himself. He wanted to broadcast it to all of Indonesia because he wanted the country to see that, it's like a porn star.
That's why it's so good. It's such a funny story, dude. Like, it's so stupid.
The scheme didn't work, but if you think about it for a second, it was kind of predictable, right? A guy who dresses this good is obviously a sex machine. There's no way you could ever embarrass him. But luckily for the CIA, they moved on to a much less sexy plan. They coordinated and funded the Indonesian military.
Yeah, the rest of the story is not as sexy, unfortunately, and very violent, as a matter of fact. One of the I read the Jakarta method because of your reg. Hell yeah, chatter.
Military to pull off what's been dubbed the Indonesian Holocaust.
Yeah, the rest of the story very quickly turns not sexy. I'm just gonna let you know, and it's treated as like formative for how the CIA operates in the future with many other interventions that they engage in. They were like, oh, the sex stuff doesn't work, actually.
The army rampaged through the country, rounding up, torturing, and murdering every single communist, feminist, and trade unionist. They liquidated 1 million unarmed civilians, and overnight, Indonesia flipped from a socialist country to a right-wing military dictatorship. It's one of the most successful CIA operations in world history, and it was a pivotal point that decided the fate of the Cold War. They took the third biggest socialist country in the world, just killed all the socialists, and swapped Sukarno with a pro-Western Suharto. I mean, like, the names are the same, but they're completely different people, right? In the same way that Mary Kate is like the rebellious tomboy and Ashley's the girly girl, Sukarno was the good guy, and he's hot, and then Suharto is just this real piece of shit, just like a Western-backed military dictatorship guy who like ran the country for the next 30 years. Now, Indonesia never fully recovered from Suharto's system. He left power after embezzling $35 billion, and for a little while it looked like the people of Indonesia would be able to overcome the military dictatorship. But unfortunately, now the country's run by another general who's also coincidentally Suharto's son-in-law. But anyway, back to Papua. With Indonesia in the hands of the US, suddenly the Americans had no problem with Indonesia taking over Papua and kicking out the Dutch. In fact, you're currently watching a video of Nixon visiting Papua in 1969 to cheer on the Indonesians as they annex it. But what did the US actually gain from just doing all these horrific things? Well, they got the same thing that the Dutch got from doing it. You see, Papua is incredibly rich in natural resources, and Suharto's first order of business was to grant US companies like Freeport exclusive rights to take it all. So soon enough, places like Grasberg start popping up, which is the biggest copper and gold mine in the world. A hole in the earth that's so big that astronauts on the International Space Station look at it and say, wow, that's a really big hole in the earth. And those holes are going places. There's so much untapped stuff in Papua, but inconveniently, there's also a bunch of Papuans trying to live their lives on top of it. And the other problem for Western corporations is that, no matter how much brutality the Indonesian military dictatorship dishes out, the Papuans have continued resisting for the past 60 years, and it turns out they're really good at fighting in the jungle. Now, look, I know it's really cheesy and even dehumanizing to compare these people's struggle to a Hollywood movie like James Cameron's Avatar, but it's exactly the same as Avatar. Like it is Avatar. You've got thousands of uncontacted tribes, and their first contact with the outside world isn't even a person. It's an unmanned drone dropping bombs and poisonous chemicals, all for the purpose of wiping them out so they can mine that land's untapped resources. All the while, the heroes of the story are defending their homes with bows and arrows. And this is where Kirsten comes into the story. They heard about a particular massacre in Papua last year where Indonesian drones dropped bombs and chemical weapons on a village in the middle of the jungle. Now look, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, so what, right? Indonesia's been doing these massacres for the past 60 years. What's a big deal, right? And I would say to that this massacre is different because I'm going to explain it using Jeffrey, the boy bird. Cool bird, isn't it? So he's going to explain to you birds.
It's not that sharp. Stop complaining.
We don't need a bird. It's a stupid gag.
You have to use the bird alerts.
No. Okay.
Nor.
So the massacre was just different, right?
Sorry.
You see, the refugees in this recent massacre managed to escape. They hiked across the mountains for a week to get across the border to Papua New Guinea, and they brought with them fragments of the bombs that were dropped on them. They wanted to bring proof so international media could finally start reporting on the secret extermination going on deep in the jungle. But obviously, no one cared, right? And as if the horrors that these people had to go through wasn't enough, these refugees had to make one of the most soul-crushing decisions of their lives. They had to do a collab with YouTubers.
I'm here to figure out who dropped the bomb, who made the bomb, and why it was used on civilians. And
I've touched that bomb, by the way. It's crazy. He was on our IRL when I was in Australia.
Screwing up this intro because I'm holding a bomb and I'm terrified.
Kirsten and Christo went and trekked through the jungle to document this evidence and bring it back to a friend in Australia who could conduct forensic testing. Now, it's
Lolo Soetoro is Obama's adoptive dad. Look him up about this. Yes, Obama is secretly Indonesian. He's actually not Kenyan Muslim. He's Indonesian Muslim. Fun fact. He does look very Indonesian, to be fair.
It's hard enough to get to a secret war zone, completely cut off from the outside world. But doing it as a journalist is extra hard because Indonesia won't let journalists into West Papua and, they have a track record of killing the ones that do manage to get in. So Kirsten and Christo decide to get in through the back door, through Papua New Guinea, which also doesn't let journalists in, but their story's a little bit different. Papua New Guinea is the other half of the island of Papua, and unlike the Dutch half, Papua New Guinea was first...
You think I'm joking? I'm not joking. Literally, Obama is Indonesian. He also does speak Indonesian. Like he lived in Indonesia. The second part, the part where he actually lived in Indonesia is real, which is part of the reason why a lot of people were doing the birth certificate about Obama being like, oh, he's Muslim. He did live in Indonesia, but this part is a joke. This is just is he still the current president? I think, or this is the president of Indonesia, the former president of Indonesia. Yeah, that is actually him. He just looks like Asian Obama. Wait, Indonesians are just Turks? Look at that hat. Yes, Indonesians are Turks. They wear fezzes, obviously, which is the most important part of being Turkish.
It's a British colony, and then it was handed down to Australia and became an Australian colony, which is so cucked. Like it's shit being an Australian because we have to deal with the fact that, a quarter of our flag is someone else's flag. What are the Papuans meant to do? Right? They're getting fucked. But they didn't have to worry about this for too long because apparently Papua New Guinea declared independence in the 70s. But mysteriously, the Australian Federal Police still operate hundreds of bases across the country, and their government is made up of the weirdest looking Papuans I've ever seen. But that brings me to the main point, right? Indonesia hasn't invaded, the other side of the island because they're both on the same team. Australia is part of the Dream Team, along with the US and Britain that created Indonesia's military dictatorship in the 60s. And we fund and train the Indonesian military to this day, while our companies are digging up the island on both sides of the border anyway. Now, getting these bomb fragments out of the country wasn't going to be easy because, Australia controls who comes in and out of Papua New Guinea.
We were arrested in PNG on the way back. Yeah, twice.
Did you know that?
Twice?
Yeah.
Well, what happened?
We got...
Should we tell that?
You guys are so giggly for being arrested. You're like, yeah.
We flew back from the mountains and we landed and we're like, it was the best. We were like, oh, we've got the story.
We've done it.
We're like, we didn't die.
That is nice.
Yeah,
That's
we've got the footage too, even more importantly. But then we come out and these guys, they go, Kirsten, stressing because we're
Yeah,
with.
why do they know our names?
And so we try and like walk out of the airport.
We were like, no.
We're gonna, yeah.
That's not us. Must be the other two white people in West Papua.
20 meters next door is the airport we need to go to fly back to Moresby to get out. And so I'm trying to walk there, but they've shut the gates on us and they're going, no, wait.
You're so close to being back home.
Meters away.
What was I saying? I was being a real Karen, like, I've got a job if I don't get back.
Yeah, I'm gonna lose my job.
You came up with a way better excuse than mine, like, I've got a job to do.
You're like, this guy doesn't have a job. What was yours?
Oh, I had malaria.
Malaria. So it was like,
Yeah.
if I get sick here, you know, and not treated, you know, it's going to be a bigger pain in the ass than just letting us go. And then they go, we'll drive you to the airport. And I go, what do you mean? The airport is, like, I'm not exaggerating, it's 20 meters. It's there. Like, it's not it's about 5 steps.
Yeah.
Don't get in the car.
They're like, no, just get in the police truck, load your bags in.
Yeah, so we had no choice. We had to get in the van and then
it's
zoom straight past
Oh,
the airport.
Yeah. On the way there, they the police car stopped and they got out and like beat up some bus driver.
A bus driver
like,
pulled out. A bus driver pulled out in front.
Some road rage
Wait,
and they
what?
just punched him in the face.
What the? If I saw that, I'd be like, oh, what are they going to do to me?
I mean, yeah, I was myself. Like, then they took us to the police station.
I was just being really annoying. Like, I gotta get to the airport. My flight's in a second. Kirsten was much smarter at actually giving him a good reason.
Yeah.
And then at one point they go, "Can we search your bags?" And I go,
And we're like,
Oh,
we've been
the
saying-
bomb fragments.
we've
Yeah.
been saying the whole time we were like, just there for bird watching. Like,
yeah. Not that any of this is like illegal or like you're not allowed to do it. It's completely fine. But it's just not a great look when you've got a 40mm grenade cartridge.
So it turns out Kirsten's malaria performance was so believable, they ended up letting them on their flight to Port Moresby, and then they were just one plane ride away from home. Needless to say, they felt pretty good at this point.
So we managed to race through and we checked our bags in and then
It was
we're
really
going through
like laughing, right?
Did the chatter just say, why doesn't the US media report on this stuff? They do, you know, 40, 50, 60 years after the fact. It's a ginormous W when the CIA declassifies the activities that they conducted. And even then, it's just like usually relegated to some random section of the newspaper. But why would they report on this stuff? When they do report on this stuff as it's happening, they report on it as though it is warranted. I mean, I don't know how the media coverage looked like during the CIA intervention in Indonesia, but I suspect that they probably covered it as like these anti-communist heroes are saving Indonesia from the throes of socialism. Think about how the media covers Israel.
yeah,
like, oh, we've done
how
it.
did we do it? And then they look at our passports and they're like, okay, you have to come with us. Like, they took us downstairs to the interrogation room, 40 minutes,
and the
an
plane's
hour.
about to leave. Keep like being really annoying. Like, can we have our like interrogation now? Like, we've got to go. And then they're going, no, you're not going to make the plane. Just like,
And we were just like, it. Like, we were almost there.
they're like, you went to a really strange place at the border. When you were there,
Why are Australians all hot? Were all those old British criminals hot as something? It's something weird happened, but all the hot criminals that also participated in indigenous genocide went to Australia, and all the ugly ones came here.
Did you see any OPM? And Kirsten goes, OPM, like
Opium?
the drug?
You're really good at this.
They're like, you're the journalist, right? I go, what? And
And then they pull up YouTube and they pull up his previous videos.
You made that video. What video?
Oh my god.
And they have my last video on Papua there.
Oh, I got that a Papua one. I thought it would be like KFC reviews or like.
And then I went, oh, that one. Yeah, this time just tourism.
Now, it was looking like they were going to be locked up in Papua New Guinea for a very long time, but lucky for them, the cops couldn't find the missile fragments they had in their luggage.
Because we'd already checked our luggage in, which was
Whoa.
like, thank fuck.
It's just like a string of like coincidences that got you out of there. It's so ridiculous.
Now, the craziest thing about all of this isn't the fact that, they got arrested twice. It's the fact that arresting them was the most any government's ever done about these massacres. No one has tried to help these people. No one even acknowledges it happened. Like, the most resources the government ever put into this was sending police to...
Australian here, Suharto was portrayed in the media as just someone you did business with. The only real controversy was the Indonesian murdering journalist, which they denied. The so-called Balibo Five. Here is a newspaper from the Straits Times. What? Dutch have refused to quit West Irian. Indonesia has severe diplomatic relations with the Netherlands over the Dutch refusal to leave West New Guinea. Jakarta. This morning I ordered the severance of diplomatic relations with the Dutch. President Sukarno announced this today in a message to the nation on his 15th anniversary of Indonesian freedom from Dutch rule. Straits Times is Singaporean media. I was talking about American media. Average daily certified sale exceeds 90,000. The Straits Times.
Harass anyone who tries to report on it. But we found out not all the media was silent. Like, there was some news about this, right? Like, about a month after they got back to Australia, somehow a picture of Kirsten visiting the Papuans came out on Indonesian media, and she became an overnight sensation.
Oh!
That's so
What's in the hand, Kirsten?
Out of nowhere, there emerged hundreds of news articles and videos claiming that Kirsten was a terrorist, and they all revolved around this one photo of Kirsten shaking hands with some Papuans.
What am I giving to her?
Only you know. Some say it's the nuclear codes. Watch out, Jakarta.
What was in your hand?
I think we're just shaking hands.
How many of these are there? There's so many pictures of you on Indonesian media.
Now, having photos of yourself all over the news is one thing, but there were some serious allegations here. Like, they claimed that Kirsten personally killed Indonesian government officials while she was there.
Who they saying they killed?
No, I think it was government officials there.
You don't even know who you killed.
Yeah.
Just,
You're that deep.
Just don't even care.
It's just an agent of chaos. Member of the armed criminal
Just kill
group.
whoever, honestly.
You haven't seen this before, have you?
No.
How does it feel being a terrorist?
It feels kind of scary. I don't know what I'm capable of.
Now, there's something really...
Yeah, all I've been called is a terrorist on Reddit and Twitter, dude. I guess some Israeli media have called me a terrorist sympathizer, but it's nowhere near the same severity,
These articles, right? They seem strangely coordinated, right? They came from all over the place, but they pretty much copied each other verbatim. Although while most of them only insinuated that the death of Indonesian soldiers was linked to Kirsten's arrival, some of them straight up said that she shot them personally. But when you look it up, you realize it's not that coincidental. Indonesia's military has been exposed running bot farms spreading misinformation about Papua. And this is nothing new, right? A lot of countries do this, but it's just baffling that such a coordinated disinformation campaign was directed at Kirsten, which got me thinking, right? We're in a pretty funny situation here, right? Indonesia and their Western backers, don't want anyone talking about what they're doing in Papua. But at the same time, domestically, the Indonesian media goes crazy. Their bot farms go wild whenever a foreigner takes interest in it. So we thought maybe we could use Indonesia's sensationalist media against them, right? If we can turn Kirsten into a world famous terrorist like Osama bin Laden or Tony Blair, then maybe we can get some more international attention on Papua. So we got to work, but this time we created a spectacle.
Has Fox ever called you a terrorist? Yes. I guess technically Fox News has called me a terrorist. They said that I want 9/11/2 to happen. They said I demanded 9/11/2 to happen. Anyway, this is not about my weak ass terrorism rankings here in comparison to one of Boy's much cooler friends.
For the Indonesian media on purpose, while trying really hard to not actually get Kirsten in trouble for, actual terrorism, because that wouldn't be very nice.
So we need to think of something that insinuates being a terrorist, but is obviously completely benign. So if we go to paintball and get a photo of you there and see if it'll catch, or laser tag.
Yeah.
Would they think? They know what high-tech military equipment is, though. We can't have you at laser tag and concentrated energy weapons or something.
Well, an empty hand was good enough for a story for
true.
Just go like this.
You should be shaking with 2 hands.
2 hands.
If the handshake was enough, maybe we could just be doing nothing.
You know
Like,
what we
maybe
could-
we'll be playing chess.
You know what we
We could do LARPing.
Yeah,
Just do
that's
like
right.
Renaissance fair. Like medieval weapons.
archery would work because they don't like they're not fans of you know, the bows and arrows that the TPN use.
I mean, archery would be cool. And then what we do, we like put it out there being like,
Yeah.
are you training them? Surely they know how to do archery. Like, what's the insinuation? Are you like
providing
bows and arrows?
Bows and arrows.
They can make
they can,
completely
yeah,
fine.
like they're training me. I don't know.
That's what's quite like that's also what's really funny about it is like, oh yeah, they need our help.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're gonna teach them a thing or two from being in our extensive experience.
these
Like
Australians in their
wandering
early 20s from
Yeah.
the inner west to go in there
From the
to
inner
teach Papuans how to do archery.
Yeah.
Gonna teach them how to go to gigs. Like, what else do you
Teach
know?
them how to make a
Order coffee, yeah.
I think you could just go do archery.
I want to do archery anyway.
Do
We
archery.
just do that and then
archery. No excuse to go.
yeah, let's
shooting.
go. And if the video doesn't work out, we did archery.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling very uncoordinated.
What's this thing for?
I don't know, he just started handing me things. Coffee in my hand.
I feel like it's meant to match a part of our body, but I can't work out what that is. There's a hole.
Really?
It looks like a penis protector. Like for one.
In an editorial in the New York Times, it stated, it is unfortunate that high officials in the Indonesian government had given further circulation of the false report that the U.S. government was sanctioning aid to Indonesia's rebels. The position of the U.S. government has been made plain again and again. It continues further, saying that the U.S. is neutral and is not doing anything except for giving appropriate targets to the Indonesian government at the time to kill, to execute.
Slightly bigger
Dissidents.
ball than the other.
Doing a scary terrorist photo shoot of Kirsten was harder than we thought. You know, the bow wasn't really cooperating.
What do you think of
my
that?
arrows. Oh, no! It's not looking good. Cut that.
It's alright. It's alright. The targets can move in a real fight, you know?
Targets is subjective.
Yeah.
Now, I knew that making Kirsten look scary was going to be hard, but got even more complicated when the instructor revoked her bow and arrow privileges.
Right, let go of that. Right, so what I want you to do, put the knot in there.
Okay.
When you grab this,
Yeah.
put it here.
You can't be trusted with a bow.
I've
They
been-
put
yeah, I've been
you
taken
on the
down
rubber
a
band.
No, how humiliating. Like,
No.
oh, my God, Christo.
You were meant to hold.
Oh my God. I feel like I couldn't be worse at this.
Hey, careful with that rubber band. Don't point it at me. Oh.
But out of nowhere, like a Taliban sleeper cell, she started doing this.
Holy sh**. What is going on?
Oh my god.
Dude, you are actually cracked at archery.
She is the terrorist. That's why they got the
Yeah, this is all real.
So she ended up getting dressed up and, you know, we did our militant photo shoot. And I don't know, I guess you could say it was a successful day in the sense that, you know, we got some tax deductible archery lessons and we took a couple of photos. But in terms of this actual video, I just kind of felt like we were wasting our time. Like there's in no world would the Indonesian government, you know, see these photos and be like, oh yeah, Kirsten is an international terrorist or like a mercenary. But we've come this far. The least I could do is make sure the photos get into the hands of the Indonesian government. So I looked it up and it turns out they live here.
Okay, so we got the dossier here. I've compiled an extensive list of sources about Kirsten being a super soldier mercenary. They're all kind of the same photo. But it's a lot of interesting news here. And then you got the glamour shots, the actual like real deal badass terrorist photo shoot. What do you reckon? This looks pretty serious, right?
Not me.
Yeah.
I'm terrified.
Yeah? Scared of her.
I think that with that aim, I mean, those arrows are going kilometers at a time.
I feel like I probably should have padded it with more paper. It's like, this doesn't scream like top secret documents. There's like 4 pages of just like screenshots from the news.
Secret training camp uncovered.
Oh, yeah. Should I put on my sunnies? Does that look more like undercover, like a secret dossier kind of guy?
You look like...
Or is this more like reliable?
I mean, I'm just really having trouble picturing the type of person that's snitching about a training camp in Maroubra.
I think the study is there. Yeah, the study is. Yeah, this is sick.
Hi there. How are you? I've got some documents that I think the Indonesian government might be interested in. It's about these mercenaries that snuck into West Papua. She's actually like a bow and arrow expert. So they train really close to here. It's down at Latham Park. They've been training archery to go infiltrate West Papua.
You can talk to somebody
In there?
to number 4 to the left.
Okay. Oh, perfect. Thanks so much.
Why would they
Thank
take
you.
this seriously? It makes no sense.
We're trying to get our friend classified as a terrorist, which is, dodgy enough. So the last thing we want to do is get done for the crime of, secretly filming inside a foreign consulate. So there's no footage from inside the building. But
Chat, Indonesia is a nation that has like almost 300 million people. Okay? It's not like some tiny island country. As a matter of fact, it's one of the largest by length nations, if not the largest by length nation on the planet. It's ginormous. So the very fact that a ginormous country like this would entertain the likes of my friend Alexa, maybe it's the sunnies that he put on, I don't know, but it's like crazy to me.
it was awful in there. I mean, like, the place was nice. It was lovely and people were really nice to me, but I just felt like a psycho, right? Like, I just seemed like a really...
Not even largest by length. Lol, nice research. Amazing commentary. Hassan really adding to the video. Wait, what? Are you all right, dude? I mean, it's a pretty big country. That's the point I was trying to make. I don't know if it's one of the I literally said it might be one of the largest by length. Why are you hate watching so aggressively? It's pretty big. It's a pretty big country. Yeah, it's longer than the continental US. Yeah, how about you get better commentary as a hate watcher? By area size, it's the 15th largest country on the planet. By total population size, it's in the top yeah, I think it might be the 4th largest country. Is that what it is, chat? I don't know. Pretty big is my point. Don't know why you would get mad at me over this, where I'm openly admitting that I don't know. Nice research on casual remark is such a debate, bro. Red flag. I know. This is why debate perverts, debate files never actually have real friends in the real world and only are only forced to interact with other people online, because every normal interaction that they have, they think is like a spirited debate. I'm not even hate watching. I'm just stating facts. Omega Law. I'm not mad. You're mad. It's the 26th of December. You're in the chat watching a person watch their friend's YouTube video that they conducted, and you're making it seem as though something that I offhandedly mentioned is actually not enough adequate feedback because it's not correct. My point was that Indonesia is a pretty large population. I'm legit in your head right now for no reason. You're not in my head for no reason. You're in my head for a good reason. The reason is it's sad. Your existence is sad, chatter. You're a sad person. It's holiday season. It's one day after Christmas, and you're in here participating in the chat of a person that you despise in a community that you don't like. That's weird. That's a weird behavior. It's probably very unhealthy. I wasn't making a statement. Merry Christmas? Yeah, I don't think yours has been a Merry Christmas, I'll be honest. It's cringe. And every single person in here thinks you're cringe. Personal attack? Wow. The only other chats last month were saying you're biased on Israel. Very unserious. Coming from the guy just as unhinged as a person who compared them. No way you said he allowed them to do that. As they do. Bro, you are so bad faith when it comes to Israel. Personal attack. Ad hominem. Ad hominem, sir. I promise you, there's a real reason why people in your, in your immediate vicinity are repulsed by you. And you can change that. Okay? I promise. You can change that. You just can't be this annoying in the real world. Hopefully, for your own sake, you are not. And you just only keep this behavior online. If you keep this energy in the real world, well, I have a very quick solution. I have a very quick answer to why you don't have any friends, and that's why you spend your time doing this shit online.
Really unwell person who just like strolled in his pajamas and is just like ranting about this conspiracy theory, and they're kind of confused. Like, they didn't know what to do with me, so they just kind of, what they ended up doing was they just kept escalating it, right? They'd be like, oh, I don't know what to do. Here's my manager, and it's like, oh, here's my manager's manager, and it just kept going up until it reached like the consular staff, like the actual political people. And then like the only way they got me to shut up was by, agreeing with me and being like, okay,
I'll just head out. Didn't realize you were this kind of streamer, lol. Brother, what the do you mean? You can't just like tuck your tail between your legs and cry. You don't have to announce your departure. This ain't a airport. Okay? Yeah, dude, you come in here and you go, amazing commentary by Hasan, really adding to the video, a mega lol, not even the largest by length lol, nice research. And then when I'm like, yeah, you're a loser for doing this on the 26th of December, holy don't behave like this in this chat, and definitely don't behave like this in the real world. You turn around and it gets too real for you where you're like, oh, well, now I'm sad. Yeah, if you're a annoying ass, I'm going to make fun of you. Be a better person. Don't be annoying.
Okay, we'll promise the president will see these documents. And then I left. Well, it's out of my hands now. Now it's up to the president. Now it seemed pretty
even long about the length. It's the third longest coastline of the world behind Canada and Greenland. Yeah, I was unfamiliar with how long Indonesia is. It's just much longer as a country than you think it is. That was simply my point. It wasn't supposed to be like something that I'm 100% assured on. I'm not giving you like I wasn't even personally convinced. I just said that it's a lot bigger of a country than you think it is. It's not just like some tiny island nation.
Obvious by my reception at the consulate that everyone thought I was insane. Like there's no way that anyone will be looking at these photos and be like, oh yeah, this is serious. This is a terrorist. I'm going to take this seriously.
What do they say?
Mystery. This guy going point proven. Came here to enjoy the stream, but here you go, attacking chatters who watch you to have a good night. Dude, you are not having a good night. You're having a bad night. You're here because you're unnecessarily hostile towards a streamer that you don't like. You're annoying, and that's why you have no friends in the real world, and that's why you found yourself watching my stream on the 26th of December by yourself. Okay, just watch your video, lol. All right, dude. Still yapping. I thought you were leaving with your tail tucked beneath your legs. What happened? You're not here to just enjoy, brother. Everybody knows what you're in here to do. You're in here to be like, something that you offhandedly mentioned is actually not 100% factually accurate, that you yourself were also unsure when you mentioned it. But I'm going to take it like as though you're operating on the CIA fact book. What a ginormous baby, dude. Pathetic.
You have the Australian Caucasian girl who dared to enter the Papuan forest. Brothers Grimm fairy tale.
That's why you never enter the Papuan forest. That's why you have to be a good girl and stay with grandma. Oh, sick. Oh my god.
How do they not like realize it's a joke?
Like, it's the stupidest photo.
The news stories just kept coming and coming. They were making them faster than we could watch them.
How does that? I don't understand how those two pictures follow each other. It goes from these guys with automatic weapons. There's a picture of you crouching in a tree.
Look at how many. Like, we got that one, the behind the tree, the artistic angle.
Look at everything.
We got every photo.
And they've like flipped them around.
Yeah.
Everyone has like a different preference for how they want you shooting your bow and arrow.
Just like these two are just
flip them. Yep, now we have two articles.
Now, I thought the previous articles used some pretty colourful language, but these new articles blew them out of the water.
OPM inserts 2 Caucasians into KKB Papua headquarters.
We were inserted.
Inserted Caucasians.
That is a big ass rat, dude. That's crazy.
Which we kind of have done. 2 Australian foreigners infiltrate Papua, spread the charm of OPM's promise of independence.
Spread the charm. Do you guys feel like you charmed your way into West Papua?
That's right, we had little hats on. Good day, sir.
But amidst all the charm and the inserted Caucasians, there were some scarier allegations, trying to link Kirsten to even more murders, some of them as recent as 2 weeks ago.
Wait, 2nd of November, that was just then?
Yeah,
you guys... What did you do? That was probably like the day we were doing archery. I still think it was you guys. I don't know where you were on November 2nd. 2 weeks ago.
Oh my god, he's freaking everywhere.
Oh, whoa. He's really terrified by this Indonesian media. He didn't realize he was owned by a terrorist. Just shitting himself.
Now, these weren't just random bot farms calling Kirsten a terrorist. This story spread, and it was being reported by real news networks.
Tribune Jateng, like, it's a big paper.
3 million subscribers.
Wait, what? This is so much bigger than putting it on Boy Boy.
Yeah.
That being said, there were definitely some military bot farms.
This one's by Hippo Academy.
What the
Legitimate news outlet.
Indonesia's not sending their best. 1 like, 3 followers. What is this?
I think it's crazy that I can't get over the size of this goddamn rabbit, dude. It is the size of the laptop. Is that normal? Is there something wrong with the rabbit? Why is it so big?
It's just like an AI
I think
generated.
they paid for subscribers.
Yeah, this is a military bot channel that's picked up on the newswire.
That's so good. Hippo Academy. It just seems like pointless. Like whose job is it to make this? Oh,
Like it's weird to me that they're not talking about the size of it.
It's a horrible doubling up.
This is just
They're just
unrelated
slop.
as well.
Yeah.
It's just
What is going
just
on?
slop.
And it's getting bigger.
Who
Look, it's
watches
eating.
it?
Let's see how many views, dude. 21,000 views.
That's impossible.
They're fake. For sure.
That is impossible.
No, they got comments.
Oh, what are they saying about you?
This is real.
If there are Australians who interfere in Papuan affairs or support the OPM, they must be destroyed.
They are the real provocateurs. They're gonna destroy you.
Good luck destroying her though.
Yeah, with a bow and arrow.
Eventually, the rambling bot videos were getting, too stupid to keep watching.
Stay tuned to see how their journey unfolds. So if we subscribe to this channel, we'll find out what happens to you guys.
Yeah, we got to subscribe to Unkap Jejak. It was 942.
I kind of want to know what happens to you guys. I think I might subscribe to them.
He's peed on my phone.
Oh, God.
He peed on my phone.
Kirsten's bunny was acting out exactly what we were all thinking, right? There's no point reading another 1,000 identical articles about Kirsten being a terrorist. It's absurd that a photo this stupid was enough to trigger such a massive reaction from Indonesia's
That's
media
big piss.
and military bot farms. So they
That piss is
inadvertently
big,
made
too.
a massive deal out of something they don't want anyone talking about, right? Like the fact is, the world isn't just ignoring what's happening, right? The world is facilitating and profiteering off of, the extermination of some of planet Earth's last uncontacted tribes, right? And these are just subsistence farmers. Like these are people who are just trying to defend their villages from unmanned drones and chemical weapons sent by us. Now, look, I don't know about you guys, but I honestly wouldn't have known anything about this if it wasn't for Kirsten and Christo and their bravery. They traveled to a secret war zone, put their lives at risk, and became the first people ever to retrieve physical proof of Indonesian bombing in the jungle. So go check it out for yourself, right? Click the link in the description.
I'm not gonna watch this documentary today, but I might watch it
and
later.
see the full story about it.
Okay, listen. Yeah, someone in the chat's about to be like, excuse me, giant Flemish rabbits are much larger than that rabbit. You're disseminating factually inaccurate information again. Erming.
Indonesia's war crimes. And, it's not just that, right? They're the only journalists in the world to have actually, followed the secretive OPM, resistance movement as they march through the jungle. Like, this footage doesn't exist anywhere else. So go, do it. Click on it.
Lol, giant Flemish rabbits are much larger. Nice research, lol. Okay, we got to stop with this nonsense, okay?